I remember when I was in first grade, my classmates and I had to pick a club we wanted to join. I chose the art club. In one activity wherein we had to draw a simple gumamela flower, right then and there, I realized that drawing was not for me, no matter how much I tried. During those years, I also knew that I loved math and I was weak in science. In my elementary days, I'd always been keen in figuring out what I wanted to do when I grow up. That in our sixth grade yearbook, I put as my ambition, I want to be a lawyer, which is actually far from what I do right now. Fast forward to high school, I auditioned for both the dance club and theater club, and I surprisingly got accepted to both. I enjoy these forms of art and even considered pursuing a dance or theater major in college. However, it was my third year in high school that shed a light on my future. I usually didn't get high grades in science, but this time I excelled in chemistry, that I even represented our school in competitions. The most important thing was that I loved the subject. And it was that experience that started it all. I began to love the sciences and I became more passionate about learning, teaching, and innovating. You too may have had various aha moments about your plans for your future. And I know a lot of you also do not have the slightest idea where to go. A lot of you may still be lost and still finding yourself, and that is totally fine. I am here to hopefully encourage you to get to know what you're good at and what you're passionate about, and to pursue these things, to cultivate them. As the future scientists and leaders of this country, it is important to ask yourself as early as now, how can I bring about change, small or big, through what I do? How do I want to help? With my growing love for science and the circumstances at the time I was about to enter college, I chose food technology in UP Mindanao because it was the course closest to chemistry. And I didn't have a lot of options back then. In a nutshell, food science and food technology focus on applying the concepts from different disciplines, including chemistry, to study food to make it safer, more nutritious, and more wholesome. I honestly hope you guys consider taking up this course, by the way. The decision to pursue this field opened several opportunities for me, from being granted the scholarship to go to Singapore as an exchange student, to being part of the faculty of the department, to finally earning a Fulbright scholarship to pursue masters in the US. Nowadays, there are increasingly more academic and cross-cultural opportunities for high school students like you. When I was in college, my undergraduate research has been instrumental in honing my professional skills. My thesis advisor offered me this topic on the use of lactic acid bacteria isolated from Nipa as a biopreservative for raw pork. Basically, I used bacteria with antimicrobial properties to preserve raw pork that I purchased from a typical public market here in Davao City. We got promising results and published a paper about this study. These amazing lactic acid bacteria were then the subject of my master's thesis. I was given the chance to study at Louisiana State University through a Fulbright Shed scholarship. I went there with the proposed study at hand, but my professor squeezed me, this was in a good way, into doing something novel and a lot more interesting. On the top of my head, I just mentioned beer, since I've always been a beer lover. As they say, we have to work on what we love, don't you agree? And I was actually shocked when my professor wanted me to work on beer. Probiotics in beer? Is that even possible? Well, it It was not easy. In fact, the topic was so tough. I even thought to myself, I was there for only 2 years, and why did I have to make my life difficult? But maybe I was really made for these challenges. We are all built for challenges, and I know you agree with me. After a series of failed attempts, early morning and late night experiments, exhausted hands and feet from running around the lab all day, and numerous crying episodes, I know this one you can relate to, we were able to come up with a formulation that made the probiotics survive in the beer that we produced. The resulting product is ale beer with free lactic acid bacteria. We used the species Lactobacillus brevis, which was provided by the US Department of Agriculture, as well as a bacteria that is immobilized. It's a more sciencey term, which means protected, in durian rind powder. I chose durian because, well, I am from Davao and I wanted to utilize its rind to give possible economic value. This invention made rounds in social media, and just last March, we produced a publication from this study. Everything seemed to have been ironed out well, that in my last semester, when I underwent a knee surgery that put me on a wheelchair and crutches for months, I was already done with my experiments. I just had to write my paper and defend my thesis, which I successfully did. You will also face unforeseen events like this one, but you just have to bounce back. I returned to the Philippines with a broader mindset about research, that science takes a lot of effort, will, and determination. Not everybody understands the depth and the impact of what we do. And you may also feel the same about the people around you who doubt the ideas of Generation Z. A year after I came back, and at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, with my passion and expertise in probiotics and the known interest of Filipinos in milk tea, including you, we opened a business called the Tea Culture PH, the first living yogurt milk tea with live bacteria. In this endeavor, I also hope to communicate science to the general public while offering a healthier option for milk tea enthusiasts. Some of you here may similarly open a business of your own, and that can be a venue to put your skills to good use and to be of service to others. At present, I am happy to continue serving the community as a teacher and researcher. I've also been part of several research projects focusing on indigenous fruits and vegetables, nutrition, and food safety. We also published papers on these topics, such as the one on vitamin A-rich alugbati egg noodles. Currently, I am handling studies on probiotic marang juice and beer brewed with pomelo peel, which are the thesis topics of BS Food Technology students. I know I still have a long way to go, but I would love to share some lessons with you. First, explore things outside of your comfort zone. It is very important to first identify the problem that needs a solution. More often than not, trying to address something goes beyond what you already know. And that is how you innovate. Second, don't dismiss and invalidate ideas. If you want to solve something, encourage healthy discussions and uplift creativity in your ideas, no matter how silly they may sound. Always keep your mind open. At the same time, be careful about the stuff that you read and hear, especially today when fake news and destructive notions are rampant in social media. Third, as the K drama goes, it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to doubt yourself sometimes. Is it okay to fail? A big yes. Do things not always succeed the first time you try them? Another big yes. Learning is a continuous process, and you, senior high school students, are up for some roller coaster learning journey. However, Let us be reminded of the famous quote: "We are what we think." Keep telling yourself that you are not good at what you do, and that will manifest. Keep telling yourself that you are made to be one of the world's greatest scientists or mathematicians or engineers, and you will stay driven no matter the hardships. During these times, especially in a health crisis, do you think that you have a say? Do you think that you can do something? Do you think that our country needs you? As cliche as it may sound, I believe that you are the future. We experience a lot of injustices, inefficiencies, and whatnot, and it is hard to fix an already broken system. It is actually an honor for me to give this talk to you, the youth of today, and the makers of the future. You are all very blessed to have the resources that were not available for the older generations. So, we are counting on you. After this event, you will go back to your normal routine as a senior high school student at UST. Some even having to balance schooling with household chores, some probably looking forward to virtual catch up sessions with friends, and maybe some having to finish the quarantine period after catching COVID. No matter what your reality is, always put to heart that trust and belief that you are going to make a change through your chosen profession in the future. Your family and loved ones need you. Your immediate community needs you. The world needs you. Innovate so you can help solve the problems of today and tomorrow. And remember, you have to love what you do and everything will follow. Thank you very much.